Hello, lovely, and welcome back to Confidence After Cancer. I'm Gabby Mottershead, your host, cancer survivor, NLP practitioner, corporate professional, and now I'm a coach for women rebuilding confidence and identity after treatment or any major life event. If you are back at work, back at life, but quietly thinking, why doesn't this feel like it used to do? What is wrong with me? Will I ever feel like I used to do? This episode is just for you. And I want to talk this week about the lie of back to normal, because one of the most unhelpful phrases that we hear after treatment is, oh, you must be so glad now to be back to normal. Back to normal. Because here's the truth. Cancer changes you. Treatment changes you. It certainly did me. Your body has changed. Your nervous system that's been through so much, it's changed. Your perspective on life, on what is important and what really doesn't matter anymore, that's all changed too. So the idea, excuse me, so the idea that you can just slot back into your old life, your old pace, your old tolerance levels, your old expectations of yourself and of other people is just unrealistic. And quite often it's very damaging, because when you try and force normal, what actually happens is you can push through exhaustion, or try to. You ignore emotional sensitivity. You overcompensate at work. I certainly tried to do this. And there was that wasn't a pleasant experience. You can also silence asking for what you really need from yourself and from other people. And then you wonder why you feel so overwhelmed. You wonder, when are you ever going to feel like yourself again? So I want to remind you what's actually happening. Let me explain what's really going on here. Before cancer, you had an identity. Like most women that I speak to, maybe you were the reliable one. Maybe you were the high achiever. Maybe you were the one who fixed everything at work or in your family or in any situation. Maybe you were the calm professional. Maybe you were the matriarch of your family and took pride in that role. Maybe you were the strong one that everybody else leaned on. But during treatment, your survival, quite rightly, becomes your focus. Afterwards, there's a gap. Your old identity doesn't quite fit, does it? And your new identity isn't quite fully formed. So you're kind of in this no man's land of bridging from one side to the other with a foot in both camps and not really feeling like you fit in either side. And instead of acknowledging that transition, most women try to perform to their old self. And that's what I did. Beating myself up, being quite harsh on myself, and being really, really impatient. But actually, that's exhausting. And it's an essential part of your healing journey. Not because you're weak, but because you are evolving. And evolution requires recalibration, not pretending. And I want to talk next about the nervous system piece. And there's something that I found nobody else explained to me. Your nervous system has been through trauma. Even if you were brave, even if you were positive, even if you felt like you coped well, your body remembers from that very first moment when you get the shock of the diagnosis to whatever treatment path you've been down, your body remembers. So loud environments can feel louder. Pressure can feel heavier. Deadlines feel sharper. Conflict, certainly for me, felt more intense. And this isn't fragility. This is not you being weak. It's a sensitized system that hasn't been supported properly. And trying to go back to normal just ignores that completely. I remember going back into professional environments after treatment and thinking, why does this feel harder than it used to? When do I start feeling like my old self again? But nothing had changed externally, but internally, everything had changed. And it took me a while to realise that. It took me a while to realise that I wasn't broken, I wasn't weak, I was just different. And different isn't wrong. So I'd like you to think about reframing this experience, reframing the question you need to ask yourself. So instead of asking, how do I get back to who I was? A better question might be, who am I now? What matters now? What do I need? What pace works now? And what boundaries are non negotiable now? What am I tolerating that I need to let go of? Because this is where real confidence building begins. Not trying to recreate the old you. Hate to break it to you, but she's gone. But even more exciting and wonderful can be consciously building your next version, building the next phase of your life where you come back stronger, you come back with more realistic expectations of yourself, and you build on this inner strength that you may have found as you've gone through treatment. You might not recognize it at the minute, you might be not really acknowledging yourself for everything that you've achieved, everything that you've been through. But what you do need to do is give it some intention and some focus. And if you're listening to this thinking, this is me, I'm functioning, but it feels so much harder. I don't want it to feel hard. I'm sick of striving. I'm sick of struggling. This is exactly the work that I do privately with women. We don't just talk about confidence. We rebuild. We rebuild identity. We rebuild boundaries, or maybe set some that should have been set a long time ago. We work on emotional regulation, really coming back to yourself, working on your stress management, working on presence in the workplace, not to suit other people, but to suit you and where you are now. We can work on energy management. That is key in a calm, structured, and safe way. And so, if this resonates with you, you can book a clarity call with me. It's not a sales call, it's simply a conversation to see if we can work together, to see if any of the tools I've got would support you in this next chapter of your life. And so the link to book a call with me is in the show notes somewhere around this podcast. And I just want to remind you, you are not meant to go back to normal. You are meant to move forward intentionally. And that takes courage. So thank you so much for listening, as always. And I look forward to seeing you in the next chapter. See you soon, my love. Take care. Stay safe and stay sane.